Good morning, my dear children. Today I'll be taking chapter 6 of your geography, and the name of the chapter is Human Resource. So let's get started. So, this chapter talks about human resource, and it says that human resource are the greatest resources. Why we call them as the greatest resources? Because it is only because of human beings. Other resources have been properly utilized. Other resources have come in proper use. So in this way, we can call human resource as the ultimate and the most important resource. So as per what are the requirements in order to make skilled human beings, so means that we need healthy, educated and motivated people so that we can utilize them in the best manner. Human resources, like other resources, are also not equally distributed over the world. In some parts they are very much highly populated, while in other parts they are very least in number. So this is like the distribution of population. So the numbers of human beings, population, the characteristics of human beings, it keeps on changing. And what is population distribution? It is basically the way in which population, people, spread across the earth's surface. So the manner in which the whole population has been divided in the different parts of the world, it is known as population distribution or distribution of population. So this slide talks about that around 90% of the total population of the world resides in only 10% of the land surface. So this shows that there is completely uneven distribution of population throughout the world. Some areas are very much crowded while others are sparsely populated. Now, there are some examples of some areas, the crowded ones and the sparsely ones. So, the crowded areas include South and Southeast Asia, Europe, and North America. Sparsely populated areas are the areas near high altitude, then tropical desert areas, high mountain, and areas of equatorial forests. There are some facts also that needs to be remembered here. It says that many more people live north of the equator than south of the equator. So maximum population resides in the northern part of the equator, not in the southern part. Almost 3/4 of the world's people, they live in two continents. So maximum contribution of population comes from two continents. One is Asia and another is Africa. And total around 60% of the world's people, they stay in 10 countries only. Out of the total countries, just 10 countries have been utilized by around 60% of the total population. And these 10 countries include 100 million people. So next slide talks about density of population. It says that a number of people living in the unit area of the earth's surface are the density of people. So in simple language, density of population means the number of population, number of people living in one particular area. What is the density of population in India? What is a number? The population in number can be called as a density of population. And this density of population is measured in terms of per square meter. For example, in the world, the average density of population is 51% per square kilometer. So, and which country or which part of the world has the highest density of population? It is South Central Asia, and it is followed by East and Southeast Asia. Next, students, we will be talking about the factors affecting population distribution. So there are so many reasons, there are so many factors that needs to be discussed while um, uh, taking decision of population distribution. There are, and the major four factors are the geographical factor, the social factor, the cultural factor, and the economic factor. So let's talk about them one by one. First comes the geographical factor. So geographical factor involves subparts like topography, climate, soil, water, and minerals. So topography means that here people prefer to live in the areas where lots of facilities are available. For example, people prefer to live on the plain areas rather than mountains and plateaus. Why? Because in the plain areas, the lands are suitable for farming, then many industries can be opened there, business can be conducted there, so farming activities can be done over there. So that is why. And the Ganga plains, these are the most densely populated areas of the world. So because Ganga plains are highly fertile in nature, so this is also one of the reasons. Next is Ains, Alps, and Himalayas. These three are the least populated areas. Next part is climate. So here people definitely resides over an area which is suitable, which has a suitable climate. For example, people often avoid extreme climate. For example, they avoid to live in areas where there is extreme cold or there is extreme hot. So that is why the people usually try to avoid extreme areas. For example, Sahara deserts, we will find extreme hot there. Then polar regions of Russia, Canada, and Antarctica, we will find extreme cold there. So people avoid these areas. Next is soil. The more fertile the soil is, the more densely populated area is there, is available there. So people definitely prefer to live in the areas where there is very fertile soil, and vice versa. Now here also we have certain examples. For example, Ganga and Brahmaputra plains in India, they are highly fertile, and Honghe, Changjiang in China, and the Nile in Egypt. So these are the fertile lands. Clear? Now water. Definitely availability of water is the biggest reason and factor. So people definitely prefer to live in areas where fresh water is easily available. River valleys of world, are densely populated, while deserts have sparse population, because deserts lack water, so they do not have much of population. Then minerals again is a very important factor. So where we have mineral deposits, these areas are most populated. Yeah, for example, diamond mines of South Africa and the discovery of oil in the Middle East, it leads to settling of people in these areas. Next comes social, cultural, and economic factor. So these, like geographical factor, these three factors are also the same and very, very important. Social factor talks about that where there is, which is socially very healthy environment can be available over there. For example, better housing facilities should be there, good education facilities should be there, health facilities should be there. So these areas are highly populated as compared to other areas. Culture, yes, places with similar culture, religion, they automatically attract people belonging to the similar culture. For example, Varanasi, okay, and many other examples are the same. Next, economic, yeah, where which can earn huge amount of money, it is related to that purpose. So where economic facilities are available, where you can set up a business, where we can set up a manufacturing plant, where we can set up a company. So these areas are much more attractive for people to live in. For example, and here also example has been given, Osaka in Japan and Mumbai in India. These are the to most densely populated areas. So next talks about population change. In this, it talks about that the change that comes in the number of people during a specific period of time. Obviously, we all know that population distribution is completely uneven around the world. We cannot say that it is equal and uniform in every area. It is uneven in nature. So it keeps on changing also, na? It keeps on changing over a specific period of time. The world's population has not been stable. It is not stable. It keeps on moving up and down. So population has sometimes it keeps on increasing manifolds to various reasons, and sometimes it keeps on decreasing. Increase in population is a reason because of the numerous birth rates. For example, while decrease in the rate of population is because of the death rates. So major reason for increase in birth rate are as follows. So now what are the reasons that birth rates can be increased? It is automatically when good food is available to people, better medical facilities are available to people, so automatically people will live a healthy life and birth rates will be increased. So this can be the reason. And one more thing here that you need to know is that births are usually measured using the birth rate. And what is birth rate? Birth rate means the number of live births per 1,000 people. Clear? That out of a range of 1,000 people, what is the total birth rate? How many people have given birth? And these birth has been given again by the women. So we will count only the female section here. And deaths, deaths are usually measured using the death rate, right? That is the number of deaths per 1,000 people. So vice versa, we see that out of 1,000 people, how many deaths have been taken place. So births and deaths, see, these two things are not in anyone's hands. So these are completely unpredictable. So we can say that these are very natural in nature. Clear? And these can be a cause of population change. So the difference between the birth rate and death rate, again there is a term that can be called as, so the difference between the birth rate and the death rate of a country is called as a natural growth rate. Natural growth rate is the difference between the birth rate and death rate. So population increase in the world is basically due to the rapid increase in the natural growth rate. Clear, students? This is all for today's session. The next part will be covered in the next slide, next session. So take care, everyone.